I'm going to say it again and again. You need a projector in your bedroom. Okay, maybe you don't need, but you definitely want one, trust me. Hey guys, this is supposed to be another review of a budget projector without anything in particular that would convince me that this is the one you want. However, Ultimea Nova C40, which is the projector on my desk right now, has kind of changed my mind slightly about what I should expect from budget projectors, and you probably want to stick around to hear this. When I got it shipped to work, I completely forgot about it, that today is the day when it's going to be delivered, and I cycled to work, which means I had to cycle back with a massive box. But that box kind of puzzled me for a second, because usually when I get a projector, just the box screams about all the features that you're gonna get with a projector, and half of the time these features aren't necessarily true. But the box was suspiciously void of any claims, which made me, I don't know, maybe worried, but definitely not assured. If you've seen my tech drop, you know I was super excited about this swivel thing, because finally I could position the projector the way I want and adjust the angle just right. And while it makes the projector slightly bigger than it needs to be, honestly, it's a pretty good idea and I love this bit. Apart from projector, you're getting a remote controller, which is Bluetooth. Nice, no more like pointing at stuff. And a couple of cables to power it and HDMI cable to connect it. On the surface, the projector isn't very impressive either. Just a single button to power it. You can see the array of sensors that will allow you to do automatic keystone correction and autofocus. And at the back, we have rather functional but minimal I/O, including HDMI ports, USB Type-A, audio video, and 3.5mm jack for audio. Considering the size of the unit, I kind of thought like it would be nice to see a couple of more options, but Let's settle down first and let's test it out before I'm going to cast a final judgment. After checking the product listing, I discovered that this thing has a Chromcast inside, which eliminates the need for one of the HDMI ports in my case. It has a Android TV as well, which is going to help with loading the apps and using the projector without any additional inputs. So having just a HDMI isn't a bad call. Now, if you take a closer look at the remote, it's a Bluetooth remote. And it's nice because you won't be facing all those infrared challenges that sometimes arise when the projector is placed in an awkward position. The layout of the buttons on the remote is pretty standard, but there are two things that stick out. First, there is a voice button, meaning that you can pass the voice command once you're pressing it and send it to your Android TV to perform a Google Assistant search or operation. The second one are the 4 dedicated buttons for, in this case, YouTube, Netflix, Prime, Amazon Prime, and Disney+. And while I like the simplicity of it, I would like to see the ability to customize them, because I don't have a Disney Plus and I'd love to remap my Plex to that button. That'd be nice. But it's an Android TV, so you'll be able to throw shortcuts on your display on the main screen of the projector and access it via directional pad buttons. So I take no problem with that. And while I'm on the subject of the remote, one of the things I've noticed that the voice control via Google Assistant not always worked perfectly. I had a couple of instances in which I would say something, but I would not be registered by projector or Android TV. I don't really use Android TV. I don't even have a TV. I just rely on projector in my bedroom. So I don't know whether the issue was associated with the unit itself or maybe just Android TV is being funny sometimes like this. And the last thing I should mention, that it uses 5G Wi-Fi, so you'll be able to connect to a slightly faster Wi-Fi network for all that streaming. Nice. Okay, so we know what we have. Let's set it up and start playing some movies and actually use the projector to evaluate it. And I was pleasantly surprised. I was actually ready with my keyboard and mouse and everything to connect it via USB Type-A port at the back, because I knew from my previous experience that typing a password on this thing is going to be disappointing and long-winded. And I was pleasantly surprised because none of that was needed. I didn't really set up Android TV before, but all I had to do is just connect it to my Google phone and I was done. It transferred all the credentials from my phone to the projector, and honestly, I was kind of impressed how quickly this went. The second thing that made the entire experience so much easier was obviously the autofocus and 6D auto keystone correction. I'm gonna explain what that 6D stands for in a second, because usually it's marketed as a 4D. So all I had to do is just point it at the wall, press the button and wait a bit until the projector will set itself up, and I was ready to enjoy my media. We're going to start with sound because it's the quickest to cover. Now there is a built-in speaker. If you don't like built-in speaker, there is a 3.5mm jack to route your audio outside, or Bluetooth 5.3 Bluetooth that you can use to connect to your speakers. Obviously another way is to split the HDMI signal if you prefer to do it this way, but you'll have to remember that then you won't get a sound from the services, cloud services like Netflix or Amazon Prime.
YouTube, I have been cooking for hours, and finally get to the house just so we can have quality fun time like Mom used to. You're part of this family, so whether you like it or not, you are gonna come downstairs and have family fun! Fun, fun, fun!
So the built-in speaker is, well, it's a built-in speaker. It's nothing particularly great. However, it's decent. It fills the room with enough loudness, and it doesn't get distorted when it's set to maximum loudness, which is really nice. The sound profile is quite flat. There is absolutely no low frequency tones in there, but it's good for dialogues, and you will be able to use it. In short, it sounds like a decent laptop, that's all. It's, considering the size of a projector, I expected a little bit of but unfortunately that's not happening. And even after using the built-in equalizer to kind of try to get the most out of it, it's just sooner or later you'll want to hook up something else. And if you want a decent sound, check out the video about majority soundbar that I'm using in the corner, and that's how I basically do my sound in the bedroom for the cinematic experience. I love it. With audio covered, let's talk about video. This has 600 ANSI lumens. You can't change really the brightness of it, so it's a fixed brightness. And we're gonna start with the projection size. At 120 centimeters from the wall, that's the minimum focus distance, I was able to cast 33-inch projection image. It was nice and sharp, but not bright enough to be used in a daylight. As long as you're gonna draw on your curtains, you'll be just fine and you'll still enjoy the experience, but the best bang for your money you're gonna get from this unit when playing in the evening, when it's relatively dark outside and you have your curtains drawn, or at night, and that's the primary use for a projector like that. I don't have anything to verify whether it's a 600 ANSI or not, but considering that I've used 400 ANSI projector before, it just feels a little bit brighter, and I can attest for that. Another thing that you should consider before you buy it, this projector shoots straight, which means your image is going to be cast equally on each side of the projector, meaning that you probably want to mount this centrally for the best projection settings and the least amount of keystoning. It's everything. Now, when I took it to the bedroom and mounted in my primary position, I had to do some tweakings, because from 3.5 meters, that's the distance I've got from a projector shelf to my wall, I was able to cast, well, an image that would fill entire wall and some of the ceiling. So it was definitely bigger than I was expecting. With some clever settings, including zoom in and out and setting 4D keystoning and then stretching corners, I was able to fix it where I wanted to be without much loss of a resolution, which was actually quite nice. Now, I've said I'm going to cover why it's marketed as a 6D keystoning. It means 4D keystoning, which is the usual keystoning you get, and ability to correct for corners, which gives you additional 2 dimensions to play with. It's honestly one of the more flexible projectors I've played with, and I was able to fit my projection to where I wanted to be, meaning about 103-inch display from 3.5 meter away. It's definitely, you can get bigger, but in my case I needed to make it smaller because it was just over projecting on my wall. Once I set everything, I was absolutely stunned how sharp the image was, and I know this is a 1080p projector, and the image shouldn't look this good. Honestly, I've used other projectors in the past and I could clearly see pixels, but somehow this projector just makes it look so much better. I really enjoyed the picture quality. The saturation is okay, the contrast I found quite adequate, and despite not having many options to increase or decrease the brightness, I found everything to work pretty much okay as standard. So whether I was watching recently released trailer for Rings of Power or just switching to animation from Kurzgesagt, the image looked just as I wanted it to look. I was super pleased, and yes, this is definitely staying in my bedroom as my default projector right now. I even checked the corners for the usual diffraction and sharpness issues, but it seems to be fine too. So this, for the price that you have to pay for it, is honestly a pretty good deal. Right, you know it looks good, so let's talk about smart. It's so convenient to have Android TV on it and Chromecast built-in because I don't have to use another port at the back should I want to cast something to, and projector that is HDMI protected. It's nice to have it and I super appreciate it. In terms of Android TV, it's not sluggish. I can switch over between different menus, load the apps, and be happy with how fast things open up. If you find yourself short on the pre-installed app, you can always visit Google Play Store and download some more. And if you fancy side-loading some apps from third-party stores, there is a USB Type-A port at the back, which you can use it to do so. Because it's an Android-based unit, that USB Type-A port at the back can be also used to connect a controller, to connect adapter to Ethernet and have it wired, even though there is no Ethernet port on it. So there are options that you can take advantage of, including just simply loading a USB disk with media and playing it locally. And as any Android TV comes with all the bells and whistles of integrated Google Assistant, ability to customize your screen and access other services, including Steam Link, which was pre-installed, which is nice, and Plex to play my local content. So I've tried that and the unit was performing as I would expect. I was quite happy with this. When I was looking at different picture preferences, I also spotted a gaming mode or gaming preset. He adjusted the picture quality a little bit, but I don't think it's a dedicated gaming mode. With that said, my next plan was to play some games on it and see whether I would like it. So without much thinking, I connected my PlayStation 4 and opened up Alienation, a twin stick shooter which I like, and played a couple of rounds on there. The experience was great, but I wanted to know what kind of latency we're talking about, so I brought it to a desk again, connected it to my computer, opened up, well in this case, Mirror Edge, because it's been a while since I opened this game and I absolutely love it, and gave it a go. In my very simple testing, I was recording at 50 frames per second and I discovered there is a 5 frames of the delay between the primary display on my laptop and the duplicated display cast by a projector. That means that will give you 100 of milliseconds of delay between your input and what's on the screen. It's not going to give you any advantage in competitive gameplay. However, playing a game that relies on responses time like Mirror's Edge was okay. I didn't really find myself being at much disadvantage, although I will admit that if you're going to compete on the online leaderboards against other people in the games that require you to be super fast, you probably don't want to game on that. For anything else in casual gaming, this is just fine. 5 frames isn't that much. At this point, you probably want to know how much do you have to pay for it. I said it's a budget projector, meaning that the price point is quite attractive. Now, the price for this projector, depending on the time, it hovers around $300, and I hope to have a nice discount for you in the description of this video, so do check it out. And for $300, honestly, it's one of the best projectors that you can get right now in 2024. It sets a new standard for what you would expect from a projector at this price, and honestly, right now, it's the one I would recommend. So guys, think about it. Around $300 and you have a cinema in your bedroom, which is awesome. So whether you're looking for casual game on PlayStation or binge watch another TV series on Amazon Prime or Netflix, I don't think you can go wrong with this unit. If you're interested, all the links gonna be in the video description. Big thanks to Ultimea for sending me the Ultimea Nova C40. I appreciate it. And as usual, I do not have a posting schedule. If you want to know what's next, then, well, use your YouTube tools provided and you'll be able to cast my YouTube channel on projector on a big screen and see me in a real life dimension. But if that's not enough, then I have a couple of social media links listed down below, considering following me on there and get the conversation started. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and see you next time. Take care. Bye.
Bye.